All right, we are back. Please, my friends, help me. Rev has started the puns before I resume the stream. Please help me. On that note, let's go ahead and get this feast started. I already mentioned our special guests, which are essentially the king's court and all of their people, as well as all of the other nobles from the kingdom of Logris. So it's like people are literally everywhere. Everything from squires and their knights, up to lords, up to earls and dukes, and of course the king and the prince. Assorted spouses. Randomly, there may be some smaller children, but usually not too many getting in the way. But like I said, too, this is the Christmas feast. It tends to go on for a handful of days at a time. Uh, Again, for our purposes, we can assume one round is a single evening's worth of events. Uh, Having said that, there is gossip, there are rumors, there are intrigues, and there are just normal checking ins with various people. I'm going to hit on some major notes that you guys would have picked up on along the during the course of the entire feast, and these are as this. News from the royal court: Prince Madoc has indicated that the Admiral Gwenwynwyn, son of Nath, is seeking volunteers to raid the Saxons up and down the coasts of the Saxon shore. The objective is simply to destroy as many ships as possible. Duke Ulfius, who is responsible for diplomatic information about what's going on outside of Logris, also indicates that the recently victorious King Aethelswith, a new Saxon king, has started to call himself the King of Essex. Essentially, nobody cares. He's just pointing this information out for people. For the royal not conservation conversation, the lords of Logris are summoned to meet in Sarum 4 weeks after the Pentecost, which in this case for us that's probably about 3 or 4 months from now. Pentecost takes place. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like 50 days after Easter. So basically, by about April going into May, basically late spring, early summer, all of the Lords of Logris will be summoned to return to Sarum for their yearly campaigns. All nobles must make sure their holdings are secure behind them, that all enfeoffment obligations are met, and that they have laid in supplies in all castles in case they are besieged next year. Do you guys have gifts for each other, perhaps?
Oh,
It is Christmas.
yeah, I didn't know we were having a Christmas feast, dang it.
No, I know, and I didn't. So it's okay if you don't have any ideas. You can assume that some sort of gift giving was done if you like. I will say that if you do have something you want to gift each other, anything more than the cost of anything more than 3 librum, let's just assume it would be too much for Christmas. Maybe sometime next year. Whether it's the quality of materials needed, you need to send off further away than just the island. Uh,
I'm assuming they don't have how to manage your emotion self-help books at this point.
Wow.
That's awesome. For the viewers who may not know, last episode,
Yeah, fill them in.
the last episode, Sir Everhart had a momentary lapse in control of his emotions, to
No,
which
that's 2 episodes ago.
was it? Yes, it was 2 episodes ago, but it was earlier this previous year that Sir Everhart had a momentary lapse in his emotional control, and well, when you're in a fight and things don't go well, sometimes you lose your shit, and he lost it. So no self-help books outside of the Bible. Any other gift-giving ideas that you guys would like to pursue before we continue?
Well, I'm assuming I would have gotten to know the character of, and when I say character, I don't mean the player character. I mean the um character
Yeah, like what kind of
of
person they are.
of of Sir Dallin fairly well
Oh yeah. Well,
especially over the patrol.
yeah, and we've also established that you guys, as squires, may have interacted, a number of times. So it's not like Sir Dallin's sudden appearance would have been, oh my God, who is this new person? Where are you from?
I was thinking about purchasing possibly through um my half brother
Mm-hmm.
something leather that Sir Dallin and their wife would appreciate.
Hmm. just had some really bad ideas about leather and what a.
Yeah. I was gonna leave some things to be filled in by the imagination due to
Yep. Well,
audience standards.
my imagination definitely got it.
Eh,
Uh, on that note, I will let you guys do a small bit of role play or what have you.
but I was still debating
Oops.
the gift for Sir Farvel.
Well, if you guys would like a little bit more time to think about gifts, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
If you come up with something and you want to explore it or what have you, that's fine. You can do it either on your turn or in between the rounds. We do have. I'm trying to find my place in my notes. I will mention. We have some intrigue stuff. We have some gossip stuff. But otherwise, we have our first round of feasting and our first round of foods, and our first
Ah.
courses. Go ahead.
Since I am over at their estates to some degree, when he is around, I approach the um. I just forgot the term. Not It's not a friar. What is his official title? The
Oh, the bishop or the
no,
the.
he's the sometime steward
Oh,
of
are you talking about Farvel's priest?
yes,
His priest
priest.
retainer.
Yeah. So
Uh,
I'm approaching the priest, who probably has even better writing and skills than I do,
yeah, probably.
and I'm commissioning him to essentially write like a um essentially the equivalent of a child's early Bible, an
Hmm.
abridged, annotated version.
Ooh,
Um,
nice.
Possibly to help him in his reading. Possibly also focusing on such passages pertaining as um,
I'm sorry.
virtues and things like that.
No, that's an awesome gift. I'm just amused by the fact that you're gonna give this grown man a child's Bible.
Well, it
But
would be
no, but
considered a child.
well, yeah,
It would
no,
be
it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect. Like I totally get where you're going with it, but in my head, I'm just picturing, hey, here's this child's Bible to help you read.
and possibly have some blank spaces that in the future, either at his bequest or as further gifts, I can have added into it art in certain places, but that would be a little beyond a single Christmas gift.
Yeah. Let's call that 2 librum for the time and effort it takes to put all this together, materials and
For
whatnot.
both or for one?
For the Bible that you're giving him.
Okay.
So go ahead and deduct 2 librum. Also, take note that that's also 2 more glory. Anybody
Okay.
else have gifts they want to give out before we begin the first main meal course? There's absolutely no pressure to have to do this right now. I'm just asking before I continue.
Well, it was gonna be one of two things. First, if I wanted to gift a horse or an axe, how much?
Well, let me take a look at chapter 8 real fast and see how much an axe costs, and then we can explore how ornate you want. Oh, look at that! I turned literally right to the right chapter. That wasn't a joke. I really did. I didn't mean to. It was like luck. Let's see. Weapons. Knightly equipage. An axe costs 25 denarii. So we can probably argue that for 1 librum, you can make this very fancy, ornate, well decorated,
can I,
probably not
um,
very well usable, but very beautiful axe to give to your friend.
I was gonna say that perhaps I had made comment of wish for a weapon that I would be looking for at some point.
Okay, so how about this? And I'll pose it to the two of you. 1 librum for a very fancy looking axe that's probably not very practical. 2 librum for a very nice, well constructed, well balanced, solid, durable, finely made craftsmanship, mastercraft type axe.
Okay. Now, what I was going to be more specific.
Okay.
I was going to request particularly, maybe I'd even seen it amongst the ranks of the Saxons,
Mm-hmm.
but a more of the small. It's not a very large head toward the end, but essentially a small two-handed axe that could be used from horseback. Something that I could potentially get a charge bonus on instead of a lance. GM's
Hmm.
discretion.
So you're thinking something probably physically looking more like a halberd, maybe not necessarily quite so tall.
Yeah.
Um, here's what I will suggest as more of a counter offer. This is what I was thinking. If Sir Farvel is willing to spend the extra librum, he could spend 2. This axe will come naturally with a +2 damage. Just because, strictly because of its master craftsmanship, not any sort of magical, log sword +1 type bullshit.
Okay.
Now, the particular uses of it, obviously, with any melee weapon, well, not necessarily any melee weapon, but with most melee weapons, you can use it from horseback, but not necessarily in the charge.
Okay.
Is that agreeable to the two of you?
Yeah,
Well,
if it's
he's the
two,
one
two
spending money.
librum,
So.
then yes.
Okay. And then, like I said, for you, Sir Everhart now has a, and you can write this however exactly you want to write it, but essentially you have a Mastercraft axe with a +2 damage modifier on it.
I thought there was a space for extra equipment.
Should be
On
there should be an extra equipment spot on the backside of the character sheet.
That's what I thought. I was looking. I see on horse.
Yeah, there's war gear and personal gear, travel gear, and then at home is a separate block.
I'll just write it in at home just
Yeah.
as a note to keep track of it.
Yeah, and then a little star or something to indicate you probably have it on you when you're going off to war and that stuff. Sir
Is there
Dal-
any chance
sorry,
that, like,
go ahead.
just out of curiosity, since this does offer me a benefit, since this is essentially written more for like someone who's learning to read,
Mhm.
is there any benefit to him? Like, could it help boost his learning to read?
You
in
know
the
what?
future?
You know what? Let's do this. You put 2 librum into this. You've coordinated this for a while. Go ahead and check read Latin, Sir
Who,
Farvel.
me?
Yes.
Okay.
Check read Latin if we haven't already.
Nope, not this one.
And then, and what's your read Latin at right now? I want to say it's 3.
3.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and make note that you have a free +1 point. So basically, you're going to get a free point at next winter phase to take it up to 4, plus the check to raise it more, or the possibility of raising it more.
Yep.
All right, and that's because over the course of the next year, as you read this, not really for children Bible, maybe your reading will definitely increase. All right, Sir Dallin, are you? Do you have gift ideas?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
So
Let's see what
out
you
of
got.
I will spend my last 3 libra.
You're down to 3 already?
Okay, keep in mind that I've spent 2 on Easter Feast, 5 on Christmas Feast, and that literally leaves 3 libra left.
But you...
Oh, I can't. I have to spend 2 because I paid a libra to hire someone.
No, hold on. I gave you 2. You spent those 2. You gained 10. You spent 5 to get into the Christmas feast. You should have 5 remaining.
I didn't start
Right
with
now.
any, remember?
Essentially, I gave it to you.
So I should have 5 right now then?
From what I'm tracking in my head, off the top of my head with no notes, yes.
Okay, so I will give a gift to Sir Everhart and Sir Varvel of a traditional congratulations on having your first child type gifts.
Okay. So 1 each then? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yep.
Okay.
And then I will give
What bonus does this give me in combat?
None.
Shush.
It's for role-playing purposes only. It's supposed to make you feel good. Jesus, you ungrateful bastard. See, I got you, bro. I'm sticking up for you.
Yeah, basically I'm effectively giving presents to your wives, not you, basically.
Yeah, take that, you bastard.
Because we all 3 had our firstborn children this year.
Yes.
True.
4, if you want to include Gareth and the not really his kid, but it's his kid. And he'll fight
2 of
anybody that
us.
says otherwise.
Only two of us had sons, though.
Well, listen, that's not important. You had children. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I give a gift to my wife that is wildly inappropriate to be shown in public.
So, so for narrative reasons, that never happened. But behind closed doors, there definitely was some gift giving. and perhaps
I don't
taking.
know. We might have gone with fancy chocolate and wine or something
So I just
silly.
realized what I just said. So, and I'm going to repeat it because I've realized I could have quickly turned it into a pun of sorts. So there was definitely some gift giving and some gift taking, and reference the clan society.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Um, our first course is swan neck pudding, beef marrow fritters, and parsley bread. Let's see.
I've made beef fritters.
I'm sorry.
What?
Beef marrow fritters.
Oh,
And
that
not for
too.
nothing. Not for nothing. This actually sounds at least interesting, if not necessarily delicious. Uh, During this round, Sir Garrett, who obviously married Myrthen earlier this past year and has already had a daughter, has also announced at this point that his wife, who has accompanied him, of course, is pregnant once again. So when we get to winter phase next year,
Mazel tov.
there's going to be another child roll made. He then raises his cup in a toast to her and their unborn child and tosses a significant NPC glance towards Sir Everhart with a nod and a slight raising of his cup. Beyond
Uh-oh.
that, what do you guys want to do? We're going to start with Sir Everhart. You have the option of choosing cards. You can gossip. You can intrigue.
Well, I feel like Gareth is trying to get my attention. Gareth, right?
Yes, and just for clarity's sake, he was simply, saluting you, essentially.
Oh, okay.
As if to say, thanks for, letting me help you out, / get a wife out of it. Now she's pregnant with my kid. This is definitely my kid. But he's not saying all that, of course.
Right. Okay. I was making sure that wasn't a like, hey, we need to talk.
No,
He has
no.
three, we need to talk. He has 3 legs. You know what? That kind of.
No. So, again, and for clarity, there's the daughter, and now she's pregnant again with hopefully a son. We'll see what happens at winter phase.
You said daughter, but I think you meant sister.
No, I meant daughter. She gave birth to a girl.
Okay. I thought you were talking about. Okay. You said there's the daughter, and she gave birth, and so I was very confused.
Nope. Myrthen gave birth to a daughter and is now again pregnant.
Okay.
And of course, there are many cheers all around for Sir Gareth.
Well, I have a wife,
Mm-hmm.
and unless it involves reading, I kind of stink at it. Um, or so do we have any idea? I'm not very good at the gossip, but would we have any idea just from the start of the feast and just from basic stuff that said, is there a purpose to the feast, or is it just simply a Christmas feast, or is there something we're moving towards?
Well, it's Christmas feast for one, obviously.
Yeah.
Two, anytime you bring a large group of people together, there's always the opportunity to overhear things.
Yeah.
The general consensus is that, on the one hand, Prince Madoc is calling for raiding up and down the Saxon shore, burning boats and whatnot. There are indicators that King Uther would very much like to get some of his nobles in line, but is kind of feeling. I'll use the word hamstrung. I'm not sure if that's really the best word to use in this case, but because he's got plenty on his plate. He's got Saxons essentially all around him. There's Irish and Picts not far off, causing problems, of course, because that's what they do. He's got at least one duke, possibly 2, that are being very disruptive, suspicious. One being Duke I'm never going to say
Glorious.
Well, it's
Is what I've named him.
It's Gorwa. Some people call him Gorlo. Some people butcher his name even worse. The Duke of Cornwall, who
Yep. It's Gilliman.
It's
sorry. That's a
That's not it.
joke.
That's not it. But yeah, the Duke of Cornwall, who once again has failed to appear for any sort of royal court. And there's some murmurings about various houses or various families or various lords. And this would be lower lords like you guys, various concerns. And then, ever present, of course, is the Salisbury-Silchester rivalry. Thanks to, once upon a time, Sir Blaine's, the steward of Levcomagus, which is in the next county over, Silchester, and Earl Roderick, both pursuing Lady Elaine at about the same time. And as we all know, or should know if you don't, Your characters definitely do. Lady Elaine married Earl Roderick, thus settling that dispute that has yet to cool. So across the
Oh
board,
my.
there's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and
Mhm.
basically all the normal things that we always complain about are brought up. There's not necessarily anything new.
Knowing that we
Or
have 3 rounds, I guess my only other question is my half brother here?
yeah, I'm sure he's here somewhere.
Okay. Um. Well, I think for the first round, I'm going to draw 2 cards and see how that fares for me.
Okay.
So click it twice.
It should be just just should be able to take one. Oh, you know what? Let me just.
I've forgotten how to take a card. I
That's
haven't
okay.
taken one.
It's been a little while. You're red. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Deal
I
to
am.
red, and deal to red. I should give you 2.
What?
Did you get 2 or 1?
No, I've only got one. I'm just trying to. I've forgotten how to read them. Like how to zoom in on it.
It would be Alt. Press and hold Alt.
Okay.
And then for the other 2 players, as a reminder, very high chances that you are not going to see the same card that we see.
Oh.
Because
Oh
that
yeah,
would be cheating.
they're duplicates of Inflamed Passion.
Yeah.
But both of them are. That's funny.
Well, that's not Inflamed Passion, and that is also not Inflamed Passion. Let me see. Let me double check.
Oh my. Okay, this is some interesting ones.
Oh.
Um.
Well, 1 second. I need to double check something because I'm pretty sure that one with the cup on it is a host card, which means it has to be played. Let me just double check. Yep, host cards.
How do I know which one's a host card?
The one has a cup on the bottom, or a chalice.
Oh. Well,
Which
it's.
hang on.
I'd like
hang
to
on,
argue that
hang
that's
on.
a moot point on both counts.
Well, no, I know because of the rest of that card, but just I want to double check. And one of them is a host card. They must play that card. Okay, so you do have to play the host card. However, as you said, all right. So for everybody else's benefit, it is showing on the stream. An ideal wife, the host, in this case, which would be King Uther, introduces you to an eligible lady he thinks would make an ideal wife. You would then get to roll on the random marriage table. If you are married, you may recommend a fellow player night. Also, not much of an option. However,
Can I interject?
yes, go for it, because I have an idea.
I was going to say you haven't actually said that Harold got a wife.
Who's Harold?
That was Holly's character.
Oh.
I was going to recommend if you have any house knights that are currently unmarried, you can take that generous check and apply it to them.
I'm not sure if I do or not.
Well, neither am I off the top of my head, but that's why I have my fat tracker out.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Road
what
has
his
to be
name
more
is?
I
top
have
than I
2
would.
unmarried house knights.
Okay. According to this,
Did you guys not open up and like mess with your family trackers at all?
No.
Dude,
I mean, I've looked at my family tracker, but I haven't messed with it.
Dude, this entire game is like glorified spreadsheets and family trees.
Yes,
Come
it
on
is.
now.
I know.
It's like Crusader Knights, or not? Crusader Kings.
That was my least favorite part of that game too.
That's not surprising. Okay, I am showing 2 uncles that are house knights, unmarried, according to your tracker.
Okay.
That would be Sir Dristan and Sir Owen. They are 42 and 44.
Is my half brother married?
Sir Seth is not married. However, you did send him off to Till's Head, so arguably he is not under your
He's
control.
not a house knight, but he's
No.
still a member of my family, and I am trying to mend fences.
That
That would still be a
you know
generous
what?
act.
You know what? Give me just a moment. I want to check something. I have stats, I'm pretty sure, for King Uther. Pretty sure I do. That's
Also,
murder.
whatever keeps him from potentially crossing swords with Sir Gareth. He shows up drunk outside Sir Gareth's estate. I loved her!
Alright, I'm going to roll against King Uther's Generous, which is a 12.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, damn.
Sir Uther, or not Sir Uther, King Uther actually enjoys your counter offer. But I do have to ask before we get too much more into how this plays out. What do you tell King Uther regarding Sir Seth, your half brother that you sent away for doing things unbecoming?
Well, I tell him that my mother didn't wish him to be there anymore, and it has been a heavy weight on my heart to have to send my family member away, and that he is a honorable knight, um, who deserved better than the ire of my mother.
I like it, he says. I like it. You are a good man, young sir. I will see what I can do about assisting in the mending of these fences. But he probably says it in a much more rowdy, ambitious, energetic, kingly way than I just portrayed him. Go ahead and check generosity, and I'm going to give you a point of geniality as well for this round. So that's 2 total for you.
Geniality. I've forgotten where that one is.
It's not on your character sheet. It's something that you would just keep track of.
Oh,
Because
right,
it
right.
converts into glory later on.
Right,
Yep.
right. I forgot.
Yep.
I'll keep track of it on my sheet. I forgot that was a feast thing.
Yep.
So I need to put a point by generous or a check.
Yep. Check generous, and then you have for the round now 2 geniality points. 1 because you're above the salt, or near the salt, and 1 for treating with the king regarding the potential marriage of your half brother. And then maybe later this year we'll see if Sir Seth ends up with a spouse or not.
And this is 3.
This is 487.
Oh, 4. Sorry.
Well, yeah, once again, officially, technically, it's 486, but for all note keeping and keeping
Yeah.
track of shit, it's all for 487.
It's such a good Christmas feast. It drags the whole week right on into the new year.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. That takes us to Sir Farvel. You may.
I draw cards.
Jesus, he didn't even let me list the options.
I have them written down in front of me.
What are your options then, sir?
Draw cards, game, indulge, flirt, gossip.
Wow, somebody has definitely been taking notes and possibly read Book of Feast that I think I shared with the group. Okay, go ahead and I'll draw them. 2 for white. 1, 2. I got an achievement unlocked. Faithful. That's funny. Yeah, hold alt. That one.
Achievement? What?
I got an achievement through Steam.
Ooh. Okay.
That's weird.
Probably because I've drawn so many cards. All right, let me double check these. Special notes or whatever they're called. Keeper card. Oh, that's a card you get to keep for the rest of the feast.
Yep.
Boo.
And then the other one, I think it's an indicator for something for Winter Feast or Winter Phase. Landowners only. Several landed knights talk of lands and serfs. Oh shit, Rev, that card you had, the one that you had to play. Oops, give me that.
Uh huh.
That had. Oh, you actually get 2 geniality on top of the 2 you already have, so that's actually 4.
Okay.
Ro, I think we've explained this once before, but just in case, the white number in the top left corner of the card indicates how many geniality are applied, just for the playing of that card.
But
Wait, I'm confused about my second one.
To be clear, I just gained 4 geniality for that
Yes.
the first round.
Yes.
Okay.
Which one, Talis?
The people skills.
Okay. Several landed knights talk of lands and serfs, then ask your opinion. You will test folklore, because that's what's in the middle right there. And then based on whether you get a success, critical, or fumble, these other things apply.
Oh, lovely.
Now, you have the option of playing the other card, because neither of them have any special, like you must
Oh, it's
play
not
this
a host
or
card?
whatever. Correct. It has different symbols at the bottom meaning different things. The other card, the time to share, suddenly your affairs seem inconsequential and you want your friends to enjoy themselves. Keep this card. Whenever you draw this card, you may give it to another player. For every card given away, plus 1 geniality. If you do not distribute any cards in this manner by the end of the feast, you
Yeah.
check selfish.
I'm sorry, I'm giving this card away.
There you go. That's all right. So who are you gonna give it to?
Uh,
I will point out the other card gives you an additional geniality, but it's totally up to you which one you want to play. So
yeah, there's no way in hell.
So
I'm
actually, it doesn't matter.
successful in
It
that.
doesn't matter which one you play. You're gonna get 1 geniality from it, regardless.
Oh yeah, I know that. But
Yeah.
wait, okay, is a fumble if you like
A fumble
hit a
would
20?
So if you were to test your folklore and rolled a 20, that would be a fumble. Unless your folklore is above 20, which it is not.
Okay, so nothing would happen if I hit over my folklore like testing, right?
Yeah, so your folklore is probably like 2 or 3,
Okay.
unless you've increased it.
Yeah, it's 2.
Yeah, so if you failed, nothing happens unless you rolled the flat
A 20.
So what are you gonna
Okay.
do? What are you doing?
I misread that. I'm rolling.
Okay, so you're playing the people skills thing.
Yeah, and I failed either
Okay.
way. So
Yeah, so nothing special. You
and
get
I get
1.
2 geniality for this round.
Yes.
Okay.
You get 1. You get 1 for. Fuck. You get 1 for the playing the card and 1 for.
I didn't give that one away.
Oh, you keep that. Hold on. Stand by. Stand by. Let me find it.
Now, hold on a gosh darn minute. I didn't get to keep my other card.
Well, that's because there's no need to.
I know.
Wait. Hold on. Give me a second here. Is that the correct one?
Hold on.
Yeah,
Is
that's
this
the
your
one.
card?
Yeah, that's the one you need to hold on to. Yep. Keep this card
Yeah.
whenever you draw it. Whenever
Yep,
you
yep,
draw a
yep.
card
Yep.
during this feast. Oh, whenever you draw a card, you may give that card to another player.
Yeah, but I drew that card, so.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
second
No,
one.
you keep
But
this one.
I'm curious because
You
he
keep
didn't
this-
pick that
so,
card.
yeah.
He picked the other.
Yeah. So he played the other card instead of giving it to somebody, is essentially. But he keeps this card. So
Till
if
the end of the
he,
feast.
so when he draws more cards later, either he gives one away,
Okay,
or
I'm confused because I thought it was keep one card or the other when you draw 2, and he played the other.
he played the other for himself, but he still holds on to this card until the end of the feast. If he does not pass any cards to other players, then he checks selfish.
At the end of the feast.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just curious why he gets to keep that card if I had to give up the other card and not be
the
able
reason
to play both.
the reason why is the special rules for this card say
Okay.
it says keep this card and it has the keep card symbol at the bottom of it.
Okay.
That will be yours. You have a total of 2 geniality from that round. Sir Dallin, it is your turn, my friend. What would you like to do?
Okay, so I have my screen open, and you said I get to draw 2 cards?
You get to draw 2 cards, and you can choose one unless it's a host card.
Yes, I would like to draw 2.
Okay, and you are blue. And I'm going to go do this, so you get that one. Uh-oh. Okay, let me see what that means. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, you've got some interesting choices here. All right, for the good of the viewers and the players, she drew Ladies' Quarrel, which is a test between just and arbitrary. 2 ladies are quarreling, and the situation is becoming awkward. And based on the results of that opposed test, one or the other things may happen. The other card is Quarreling Knights. Same test.
Okay, so the number in the top corner, is that my guaranteed geniality?
Correct. That's what you will gain from playing that card.
Then, when it says just versus arbitrary, how does that type of roll work? Am I rolling for just?
So what you would do is you would roll. It's basically an opposed roll. So you would roll against your just and then roll again against your arbitrary, and based on which one is a success or which one is a higher success, determines if you win just, or arbitrary. Is that? I hope I explained that well enough, because I feel like maybe I didn't. So what is your just and arbitrary
So,
scores?
11 and 9.
Okay. And I'm assuming 11 just.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you would essentially have to roll 2d20s, or roll one twice. First one would be against an 11, the other one against a 9. Just like if it were an opposed combat test. The difference being that you're going to roll both of them. So you're going to essentially make 2 tests, and then based on the results of those 2 tests, we'll determine which option you go
I'm
with.
totally
on
doing ladies' quarrel because that just sounds hilarious.
the card. Awesome. And that one has 0 geniality, correct?
Yeah, but if I win, I get +2.
Yes. Well, if you get
Whereas
if the just wins.
Yes. Can you actually win both?
So what would happen is they would both, if you succeeded on both, the higher roll would win between the two of them. So you could
Just
roll
like in combat.
Yeah, just like in combat.
Okay, makes sense.
All right, so go ahead and roll your just first.
Yeah, I think the ladies' quarrel is entertaining.
Oh, hell
Just
yeah. 2
imagining
ladies
my
are going
wife
at about it.
arguing with my mother.
Do you want to choose? Do you want to choose the topic as to what the 2 ladies are arguing about?
It's your mother and wife. No, I'm kidding.
That
it's
would be
my
hilarious.
wife arguing with someone, and I'll let you pick the topic.
Okay. Yeah. No, I feel like she's arguing with somebody. She overheard
Just
some
for-
servant saying something about gold digger verse, or not. I'm sorry, not gold digger. Cougar hunting, but whatever the appropriate era appropriate comment would be. All right. Well, that's a failure. So just one. I'm assuming you did just first.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so just was a success and arbitrary was a failure. So you go with the just option there, which gives you +2 geniality.
Nice.
Now, for role-playing reasons, I'm curious how you would interject. Your wife has overheard somebody saying something about, look at that lady Indag marrying that young-ass man like that. What the hell is she thinking? Going for somebody so much younger.
That while I may not be a Christian, isn't the entire purpose of Christmas to be all play and kind and giving and all that nonsense? I'll play on the "it's a holiday, let's not argue" aspect.
Okay, I can live with that. And that is 2 geniality for just winning, correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is a side note. This didn't occur to me until now, but your wife's name is Indig, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that almost sounds like a sci-fi insult, like, oh, that Indig.
I know, right? So yeah, that's 3 geniality for my first round.
Correct. There we go. Okay, before we move on to the next round, we do have some things to cover. At various times throughout the evening, gifts are given out. All goes well. Servants first get gifts from the Earl and then the knights. Sir Everhard, Earl Roderick approaches you, and he's holding in his hand a small, square-ish bundle wrapped in cloth. There's a small bow or something to that effect. The bow is what's holding everything together, and he passes it to you. Oh, I'm sorry. Who did I say? I meant Sir Everhard. If I said somebody else.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Sir Everhard.
When you said a bow, I was thinking.
Oh no! I'm like a couple of leather strings are tied in.
I hear you.
loose
I hear you.
knot.
I just.
But yes, Sir Everhard, you're the first received your gift from the Earl Roderick.
Okay.
It is a small, well, not small. It's probably about 6 inches on a side, squarish. I don't know, 6 inches might be the right size. I don't know. You'll see it when you open it.
Okay. What do I do to open it?
Just tell me you want to open it.
Oh. Under the circumstances, is it sort of the thing where you wait until you're home to open your gift?
No, this is definitely one of those. Go ahead and open your gift now. He's looking at you.
Okay, well, that's what I would do.
Okay. Once you open it up, you find inside, bound in fine leather, pages are crisp, clean, as though freshly made. The ink is clear, and there are no smudges. It is the Holy Bible pertaining to, I believe you are a British Christian, am I right?
That's correct.
Okay, so you would get essentially the King James version before King James was a king. But this is a nice new, this is almost a piece of art. All of the ink is clear. There's no smudging of ink. All the pages are nice and crisp and clean. The leather is fresh. Not necessarily fresh, but it's not old leather. It's nice, fine leather. It's a little stiff to open it up. But yeah, literally a brand new Bible, straight out of the box, as it were.
And you said it's more of a work of art than, say, a traveling Bible.
Yeah, no, this is the one that you would at most probably want to keep at home, like on your bedstand. You wouldn't normally take this with you. I mean, if you wanted to,
yeah.
you could.
Written books for a long time were literally worth their weight in gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and keep in mind that for a good chunk of history, people recorded like their family tree in the back of the family Bible.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I know, like, for quite a few people, the idea that a Bible is being given as a gift is almost, beneath one. But no, especially in this setting, getting a Bible, especially a brand new one, is
or
a
any
big
kind
gift.
of bound, like not just necessarily Bibles were especially important, but any kind
Yeah.
of bound book
Absolutely.
for anyone who could read was.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is a big deal.
I'm overjoyed to have it. I am showing it to the wife. I'm assuming clearly the cover is artistic. Is it one that has any sort of embellishments inside?
Well, I mean, there's the I can't think. I'm sure there's probably a more specific word, but the various artworks that one would find inside the Bible.
Yeah. I'm not wanting to assume what the decorations are, but like a nicer Bible would often have like the first letter or the first letter of each chapter as something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you've definitely got the stylized version.
Okay.
That still may not be the right word, but yeah, you've got the pseudo illustrated. There's a few pieces or a few paintings or whatever in there. There's lots of rabbits because apparently that was a big thing back then too.
Since we're still around the Christmas feast now, I'm basically telling him that there's no way I can equal his gift as well in the nicest way possible.
Yeah. No, so I think this is something that Everhart would know almost intrinsically that, no, listen, I'm the Earl, you're, a small lord, like, you're not going to be able to, reciprocate this, so, and he knows that, and he's not trying to do this to, like, lord it over you, no pun intended.
Right.
This is definitely one of those, like, no, you're one of my loyal subjects, and I felt that this was a worthy gift of you, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it stays within your family, just like the lands that I'm entrusting you with.
Right. On a side note, I think I want to buy like for the winter phase. I meant to buy a horse and didn't, but anyway,
No worries.
we also could get back to you on that.
Yeah, we can
last time.
Yeah, we can retcon that. I didn't ask at the beginning, so we can always retcon that later. Sir Farvel. When the Earl comes around towards you, he brings you a well-made longbow, and I'm going to clarify something in that in just a second. He brings you a well-made longbow presented with a fine, soft leather quiver and fastenings meant to be worn on the hip opposite your sword. When I say longbow, I need to be clear. This is not your Agincourt, was it Battle of Hastings? Or was it Agincourt, where the English longbowmen just decimated the French? I feel like it was Agincourt now that I think about it. Anyway, regardless, this is not your, in our modern parlance, longbow. This is it's probably, to be honest, it's probably more between a short bow and a longbow as far as its size. But essentially, he has given you a very well-made longbow, a quiver, so that the quiver is attached to your belt on the opposite side of your body from your sword. And I need you to make note that if you use this bow in battle, this gives you 3d6 plus 2 damage.
Hold on.
As opposed to the normal 3d6 damage.
Oh, I thought his bow had a limited number of damage. I didn't think it was. I guess 3d6 was it?
3d6 is the standard bow damage. In this case, I just gave him a plus 2. Again, because of, masterwork, craftsmanship, that sort of thing. Yeah. There's clearly, magic is not a thing that the vast majority of people can practice.
Wait, so is it a short bow or is it a long, like...
It's
just in between?
Just call it a bow. I put longbow, and then I didn't think about it until afterwards. And then I was like, I'm probably going to have to distinguish the difference between this bow and the traditional English longbow.
And it was from the Earl?
Yes, Earl Roderick has gifted you with a bow and quiver.
So 3d6 plus 2.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Sir Dallin, when the Earl comes around to you, he brings you this. I'm trying to. I don't want to give it away right away, but I'm just going to read what I have. Sir Dallin, he gives you a plaque made from oak, affixed to which is a beautiful scroll that proclaims in golden filigree, Slayer of Giants. This is a plaque that one could hang above the fireplace. The scroll is, again, similar to, freshly made, freshly produced paper. The filigree is, it's basically ink with, gold inlays into it, if that makes any sense, like gold dust sprinkled into it or whatever. It's very beautiful. It's the oak has been, I don't know if they would have varnished it or stained it or anything like that, but it's definitely been polished and treated so that it can, survive more than just a couple years and not have bugs crawling through it. But he has given you this plaque proclaiming you Slayer of Giants, and when he gives it to you, he kind of goes into this story that has slowly started to make its way around the land, where on your guys' patrol, that it was you that felled the giant, the three-eyed giant in particular. And then, of course, there's a follow-on chapter to that story involving something about a slime horseman thing that you guys also fought. But in this particular case, because you did do the most damage, a considerable amount of damage, he wanted to recognize that you are among the elite knights that have fought and defeated giants.
Yay!
Although,
I will add it
go ahead.
next to the giant head above the fireplace.
That's quite fitting, because when I made this up, I totally forgot about the giant's head being mounted somewhere in your house.
Oh yeah, it's going like in immediate. I basically hand the plaque to my wife and going, I think this would look lovely near the giant head that you have already decorated or hung up or whatever the appropriate word would be.
I picture something like having the skull, all the skin and everything boiled off of the skull, so it's just the
They could
skull.
have a pedestal of honor in my entryway.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So the plaque could go above like the
Yeah, that's awesome.
like sitting room or the public facing room.
Yeah.
Be impressive.
Yeah, in your what otherwise would be a throne room if you had something more than just a hall. Sir Gareth. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Me, I think it's the receiving room in that era.
Yeah, that sounds appropriate. Audience chamber or something to that effect. The Earl continues to make his way around his various other vassal knights. Sir Gareth receives a large ram's horn drinking mug, and this thing is much larger than any mug ought to be. Sir Gareth shows his appreciation by immediately filling it with a dark ale that he basically downs, and then lifts his mug in an obvious appreciation for the gift, surrounded by cheers from his fellows for, basically slamming a mug of ale. And everybody is, appreciative in that stuff. The Earl then continues on to present more gifts to his household officers like Sir Amig and Sir Elod, two of his marshals and castellans, and then finally to his family members. Lastly, the king then does the same for his household knights and officers. And lastly, King Uther presents Prince Madoc with a new set of armor, polished and fitted exquisitely well, as well as generous grants of lands and manors along the Thames and Castle Windsor itself. Which, of course, as the king, he is more than capable to give out such a extravagant gift. Fresh, new armor. And when I say that his armor is polished, if you actually watch, like, the movie, what is it, Excalibur, from way back in the day, and like how everybody's armor had this like shine on it. That's what his armor looks like in the hall right now. It's just got this stupid shine to it.
Yeah, especially if you're polishing chainmail, you basically have to break out the sand.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. We are on the cusp of our second round, and we are sitting at about 50 minutes. Do we want to take our break now and then see about getting through the next two rounds following that, or do we want to try to get through this round before we take a break?
I
good either way.
don't care either way.
Go ahead, Rev. What do you say?
I said I'm good either way.
All right, Ro. Okay.
Good to go.
All right, we'll go ahead and do this round. The next round is capon pastries and chips. Capon is I want to say it's a bird, a water type bird. I'm not 100% sure to be honest with you. But anyway, capon pastries and chips, boiled bittern, and lampreys in hot sauce. I'm assuming by hot sauce, the sauce is actually hot, not spicy. Could be wrong. I'll leave that to the individual to interpret as they wish. I would also like to point out we didn't do it last round. I kind of let you guys do what you wanted to, but I want to remind you that you do have individual rounds where you can, instead of drawing cards and the other things as per the Book of Feasts, if there is a specific scene that you would like to do, something relatively short, you can do that as well. On the other hand, I have Sir Everhart at 4 geniality right now, Sir Farvel at 2, and Sir Dallin at 3. Sir Everhart, it is your turn, my friend. What would you like to do?
Well, first off, I just want to say for the record, thanks for spoiling my next Christmas gift to Farvel.
Well, you should have been more thoughtful, I guess. I don't know. I prepped this like 3 days ago, so it doesn't matter. So
I know. But and capon is kind of a type of chicken. But anyway,
that's what I was thinking. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Ironically, they're sort of illegal in the UK.
That is weird.
See, I think since on the last feast, of course, this is happening on different days, correct? We're just
like fundamentally, this is a several days, like 3 or 4 days long feast ceremony.
Probably early on the next day, before he's had a chance to get drunk, I'm gonna try and at some point feast with my brother.
Okay.
Check in on how he's doing. I've probably been sending him some sort of written communication because I know even if he can't read, there is the
old priest Gar.
The priest there.
Yes.
So nothing too personal, but more just genealogies of how are you doing, how are you faring.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing.
Okay. Are you looking for anything in particular, or is this simply a touch base and try to mend busted fences where possible?
Well, I'm a little bit disappointed that there are fences to mend, but I certainly would be working towards that.
Okay. Yeah, no, he's, for all intents and purposes, Sir Seth has been doing all right. He spent the previous year, he did not go with the raiding parties. So he was one of many knights of the Earls that stayed home. He went on patrol. There was a couple of really weird hunts as they went deep into some of the forests that are off that way. One time he had to go with Sir Amig from Castle Tillshead into I forget the name of that forest that's over there, but there's kind of a dubious forest that way.
Like Fey-ish forest?
Fey-ish, yeah, because one of the purposes of Castle Tillshead is to combat the monsters that come out of there. So part of his patrolling duties were in that particular forest. But, things got a little creepy at times, but generally they made it out all right. There were, some banditry, some wild hunts, but nothing really crazy because, no new scars.
Relaying to him how the fights against the other things went and possibly leaving out some details about how I fared.
Yes, how you fought giants. Yes, brother, I heard.
And slime monsters.
I heard. Ironic that, the western lands of the county are devoted towards fending off the monsters of the forest, and yet there you are fighting a damn giant.
I'll say something to the effect that maybe the glory can be yours next time.
Indeed. Perhaps it will. But, something to be said about quiet times. But then again, King Uther and the Earl and the Duke of Silchester, God only knows what can come next.
Have you heard anything?
Well, Silchester, specifically Sir Blaine's of Levcamagus, and his, we'll say, animosities towards Salisbury. There are lots in Silchester, I've heard, that cast a baleful stare towards the west, meaning in the direction of Salisbury County.
Yeah. That is disconcerting, to say the least.
Yes,
We need to be focusing on threats other than each other.
yes, looking outward instead of inward for the next blade.
Speaking of looking outward instead of inward, have you heard about the half-brother of Farwell? Heard what he's
No,
up?
I have not heard of him. Should I have?
Let's just say rumors say he might be eyeing Farwell's seat.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because this has been a recurring joke. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully,
older brother died under some mysterious circumstances.
you know,
He's a plotter.
I do recall hearing something about that. Something about a well. Maybe he wasn't pushed after all, but maybe he was.
Too bad that Lassie was sick that week.
Oh, that's a shame. All right. Anything else you want to do in here with your brother?
No, just spending the generalities of a feast.
Okay.
Maybe is the woman in question that was mentioned here?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about her. Actually, yeah.
I'd probably do a little bit of introductions and maybe even give a little. I'm sure there's been some event of in my brother's past where I could sort of talk him up. You know, give a little heroic rendition of something that he did. You know, kind of maybe put my speech check towards it.
Yeah. Let me come up with a name real quick. Come on. There we go. We'll go with Carrie. For the lady's name. Carrie, probably like some sort of like second or third handmaid into some other uppity lady in the court of King Uther. Yeah, you know what? Go ahead and roll orate.
Okay, I'd like to roll orate with a love of family. This is when I can use that one.
You know what? I can.
I haven't had a chance to use that one yet.
Yeah, let's do that. Love of family. In order to boost your orate, in order to sell your brother to the Lady Carrie. Not sell anybody, but
I know what you meant.
yeah. That's a success. So that's plus 10 to your orate.
All right.
Go ahead and check love of family.
All right. And then a D20 on an 18.
Sounds about right. That is also a success. Check orate for me.
All right.
I'm going to give you geniality as well for this round. Yeah, so the Lady Carrie seems a bit taken in by the story of this previous, I don't know, brothers trouncing through the woods and how, you know, you came upon a wounded animal that your brother attempted to nurse back, but, you know, maybe ultimately wasn't successful because neither of you know how to do these things. But, you know, she recognizes the effort. And of course, you know, you were children at the time. You didn't necessarily know any better. And it looks like Sir Seth may have some marriage potential later this year. And maybe, in fact, later this evening, Sir Seth and Lady Carrie will have some private time together. Not necessarily in, you know, the behind closed doors sort of way, but, you know, a chance to get to know each other.
I didn't take it as the other way, but anyway.
Well, you know, I have to say these things because some people will misinterpret them.
Ooh la la. No.
Story of Injured Rabbit, Demon Lady. Okay. All right. Sir Farvel, what would you like to do for your round of
You
this
said
feast?
you were going to give me Gianni, but you didn't tell me how much.
So you have 2 total from this round. One for
Okay.
the one for per round and the one from the interaction with your brother.
Okay, you just said I'm going to give you some geniality, and you didn't
Oh, I
say
thought
how much.
I thought I said I gave you one. My bad.
I heard some. I may have misheard.
Sir Farvel, what would you like to do?
I Draw more cards.
All right, draw 2, please. And
You have to, don't
oh
you?
yeah,
Or...
you might be able to right-click and draw to your color, but I'll do it. I'm already here.
So, just to think aloud while he's drawing, we have heard news about the Huns, right? Like that's the whole thing about. Or is it the Franks? Is it the Franks?
It
I
was
can't
the
remember
Franks, and King
the Franks.
Claudius was mentioned a feast or two ago. Let's see. About things real. A lady asks if you believe in fairies and spirits.
Jesus
Or
Christ.
gossip. You overhear some interesting conversation. And test gossip. Or excuse me, test intrigue in that one.
Glad you got
Or
this.
you
I'll be
can
right
pass one of these cards to one of your fellow players and gain geniality from that.
If it's
Or-
gossip, give it to Rodents.
There is that. You do know that Sir Dallin is something of a schemer. I would imagine you would know by now, anyway.
Speaking of
you have another keeper. Hold on, keep this card.
Speaking of scheming, I would have relayed the information about knives at our backs
Okay.
rather than knives outwards.
Okay.
To particularly to
Farvel and
everybody,
Dallin.
but particularly of note to Dallin, because I feel like that's directly in their wheelhouse for finding out more information.
So you have to keep this card. You're still gonna test intrigue. You cannot draw cards while you keep this one. Okay, hold on. Hang on. That's a little weird. You do have multiple choices here.
Heck.
Honestly, I would. It looks like you still have the option of choosing one card over the other, but if it were me, I'd play the.
I'm
one
playing
with
Intrigue.
Yeah, the one with the gauntlet on the bottom. All right, so go ahead and test your intrigue. However,
I reroll.
stand by.
Oh.
I do see the 16 though.
Yeah.
So test intrigue, and then on success, you have to do something. Okay, you're gonna re-roll. You
Yep.
said. All right, let me mark you off for one of your re-rolls. You have one
That should be
remaining.
2.
All right, go ahead and test your intrigue again.
Aha!
5. What is your intrigue? I don't know. If
8.
8. Okay, you got a success. Check intrigue. And you also. It says gain +10 on any one skill roll. So you have a free +10 skill roll bonus to be used sometime the rest of this evening. The evening of the feast. But otherwise, discard this card. So I'm going to take that back. I'm going to take this one back.
Hey, Rodance, while they're doing that,
That did not give you any extra geniality, however. So make note you have that +10 bonus until the end of the feast. To be used one time only, to be fair.
Yep.
No extra geniality. And a check in intrigue, if I'm not mistaken. Rev, I think you were going to say something?
I was, but it's going to be Rodance's turn, and I was going to say while you were doing that, I was going to ask her, since you were busy, is there a cost table for horses? Because I've looked for it before and can't find it.
It is in Chapter 8. I can tell you the page number if you give me a half second. Well, I'm going to need a little bit more than half a second, but...
If it's in Chapter 8, I'm sure.
That's appendix. Oh, she was AFK, actually.
That's probably a good thing that she didn't.
Oh, what did you guys do? And am I gonna have to go watch the replay?
No. No.
You're not going to have to watch from replay,
Oh,
but I did
it's-
pass on some near juicy gossip to you that I in talking with my brother, half brother, there are rumors about that the next threat we face could be from inside rather than without, due to the rivalry between our Earl and the other one.
Oh,
Silchester and Salisbury,
Silchester.
specifically the steward of Levcomagus, which is, if I'm not mistaken, the capital of Silchester. To find the horse table, i.e. the prices for horses, it is book page 191.
Which would be 192 PDF.
Yeah,
I believe.
192 or 193. Sir Dallin, it is your turn for this second round of feasting. What would you like to do, my friend?
I want to draw 2 cards because that was kind of fun.
Okay. I will draw you or deal you 2 cards. I'm going to deal them to blue, 1 and 2. Now I just need Dr. Seuss to show up. All right. A generous knight or manners? Ooh, generous knight sounds interesting. Manners also appears to be interesting as well. Oh, let me actually read them for the viewers. A generous knight,
Ew.
a rich and generous knight asks you about your circumstances at home, which may give the opportunity to live better or a check and proud. Or manners, you unexpectedly pass wind the while the host or an important guest is speaking. That is awesome. And then are you going to blame it on your wife? Which one would you like to do, my friend?
Um, um, I'll go with generous knight.
Okay.
And let me double check my sheet because I'm pretty sure proud is one of my religious skills that I'm working towards.
Yes, I also want to point out one small, we'll call it a hiccup. This card gives you the option to live richly, but you are living above richly. So refusing him is more about, I would think, not so much pride, but humility. Depending on how you want to let him down. That would be my counter argument. Only because you guys have lived superlatively, whatever it is.
I'm trying to remember what stat counts as humility.
It should be proud. What's the opposite of proud?
Modest.
Modest. Yeah. Modest would be the next closest thing, I think. I am open to other suggestions.
I'm declining him proudly because I am especially prideful of my wife's skills.
That is a good validation. Please check proud.
I am absolutely certain my wife is amazing at everything she does and she walks on air.
As one should be to your sugar mama. That
but
gives
there's this entire concept of courtly love and women are celebrated. And,
yes. Yes. I was being facetious. You gain 1 additional genialities for a total of 2 for the round. Sorry, go ahead. You were trying to say something.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the amount of checks I get to lustful for my wife in IRP for this next year.
When on patrol, bang my wife. When on patrol, bang my wife again. I'm sorry, that was probably a bit much. I'm going to take these cards back. I have you down for a total of 2 geniality this round. And if you guys give me just a quick second, I will give you your totals at this point. So, Sir Everhart, 6 geniality. Sir Farvel, 3. Sir Dallin, 5. We are going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we will try not to go terribly long, but we do have one more round of feasting, and we still have to finish this round's feast event. Let me rephrase that. This round's event that will be coming up in just a moment. So stick around, my friends. We will be back. There will be more feasting on the way.